don't know me, my name is Jo Bird. I'm a former in-house creative at Gymshark and Lounge Underwear. Now I'm flying solo, no pun intended. So yeah, I'm loving life, and I am going to talk to you about art direction. Do I have any fellow creatives in the room? Anyone that loves one? Great. So we're the only two divas here, and I'm happy with that. I don't know about you. Great. Well, for the rest of you, this is going to be an education. We're going to have a lovely time. So art direction trends. I don't do numbers, I do pictures. But if I did numbers, this is the one I would look at. 95% of all purchases are going to be made online by 2040. Why is that interesting? Well, it's interesting because the e-commerce space is going to start to look a little bit like this. And I don't know about you, if we just take our e-commerce professional hats off for a second and look at this from a consumer point of view, I think this looks fucking boring. I don't know how you feel. It is so the same. We are optimizing for efficiency and not for soul and creativity. And that hurts my heart. Does it hurt yours, fellow creative? Yes, he's nodding. It does hurt his heart. So today, I really want to help us think a little bit about how we can turn bland into brand. This is what gets me going, if you can't tell already. It's very exciting to figure out ways to craft your unique voice as a creator, as a business, as a brand on the internet, because it is a noisy old world out there. So these trends that I'm going to talk through are ways to help you do that for yourself, for your business, for your clients. So in at number 5, we have value-driven storytelling. So I'm going to assume that you've heard the term values, brand values, and you've also heard storytelling. It is a buzzword in a lot of businesses. I understand it gets boring, but I want to just connect 2 different dots for you right now. Value-driven storytelling is the way that you can build your brand on the internet. Can anybody guess the brand here? Yeah, I'm testing you all. Wake up, wakey, wakey, coffee. What's the brand? No. Did anybody say Allbirds? Well done. It's Allbirds. So their brand values are all about nature, comfort. You can really see how they want to embed themselves in the market. They've got some clear brand values, right? Who owns Allbirds? Anybody got any? Rate the brand? Nice. So this all makes sense to you, right? This is who they are as a brand. So when you go on their website and you start to browse and look through the visuals, what is it that you see? Do you see those values screaming at you through visual direction, through the color palettes, through the fabrics, through the textures, through the choice of imagery and the way that they construct that platform? This is value-driven storytelling. I created a mood board because that's what I like to do. This is so intentional. Every decision they make visually speaks to their brand story. This is not an accident. And I think this is so important for us to start paying attention to. In a world of AI, you're going to hear a lot about AI today. I think we need to remember soul and story and creativity and how you can do that on your platforms. Another little pop quiz, a little bit easier than yesterday's pub quiz, which I sucked at. Can anybody guess this brand? So this brand celebrates confidence and individuality with sexy lingerie, elevated sleepwear, and more, designed for everyone, every mood, and every occasion. Let's go. Who's going to guess? Someone says Savage Fenty, right? Yeah, I tell you why it's not Skims. Because Skims, their mission is innovation. If you think of Kim Kardashian, she's very robotic, she's very curated. So when you look at their art direction, it is very much like that. Savage Fenty, no. Savage Fenty is all about diversity and inclusion and expression. And how do you see that? You see it through the casting. The people that they get in that studio to wear those products, very, very intentional. Is there room for improvement? Always. Of course, there's room for improvement. But let's compare this to Skims' website. If you have a look after this talk, you'll notice Rihanna and Savage Fenty are very intentional about this. This sets them apart. So now you see these value-driven storytelling decisions are embedded so deeply in these brands' websites. Now, I'm going to help you out with the next one. You may not have heard of it. And if you have, we're soul sisters. Suzanne. Oh, my God. This brand is stunning. So if you don't know Suzanne, it is about creating the cult Parisian fashion statement. Chef's kiss, beautiful. Go check it out. And how they do this on their website, I mean, look at it. Oh my God, you got me. I want the bag, I want the shoes, can't afford it all, want it anyway. But have a little look at that website and how they've curated it. This is truly beautiful. When you think of Paris fashion, French etiquette, fashion is art. Fashion is a statement. So the way they curate these images is just so in line with that mission. You've got the color palette sat together. When they want to advertise the bag, they show you the shoes and the skirt to wear it with. You don't get to choose. We're going to tell you. Color palettes work. If it's about the scarf, they're going to show you how to fold the scarf. If they're going to do lifestyle imagery, it's on the streets of Paris. Let's take you there into that world. This is all so well crafted. Why? Because that's Suzanne. So this is really, really great, intentional, deep thinking stuff. The AI and robots and all that jazz, it's not going to be able to think about, but you are. So trend number 4, I'm going backwards, by the way, like a chart show. Number 4, immersive experiences. Now, I, for this, went on to Balenciaga's website, and I absolutely love what I found. So on this homepage, I landed and I was like, all right, okay, new collection on the homepage. And then what I noticed was it was a 360 video where the model stands up, she walks around the e-commerce studio, you get to follow her through the fashion, through the styling, you see the steamer being used, she goes to the makeup mirror to top up her makeup, and then she walks right back around and sits in the same spot, and then it loops back around. So you land on this website, this premium brand, and actually they're pulling you into the world of e-commerce. You get to see how they shoot their website. Don't you just think that's so romantic that you're pulling me into your world and I get to be part of that? There's a stereotype that e-commerce photography is boring and bland. Who wants to work in an e-com studio? No offense. But Balenciaga are like, no, this is fashion. Come with us. Come into our world. And I think that's amazing. This next brand, I'm from Birmingham, so I'm going to say this wrong. Can anyone help me with this brand? I think it's Longan, right? Yeah. Butchered it and no one cares. Cool. This website is stunning. So you go into, before you see products, the history of this luxury watch brand. You get to see that it's built on aviation, the history, the timeline. You are in the world. I'm in there. I'm feeling it. I may be on my computer, but wow, like you've pulled me right in. And I understand this is a lot of UX design. I get that. But when you do get to the product pages, the imagery is big. It takes you there. You see everything. You see the cogs turning in the watch. I can feel it. It's sleek, it's chic, it's gorgeous. If I want to see different straps on the watch, I can play with that. So you're taking me in on this journey because this is an expensive product and I need to see the details. It's truly beautifully thought out. Of course, I couldn't talk about e-commerce without talking about Zara. Now, when I made this presentation, I went onto their website to check it out and it had this holding page. And I was like, oh, I've got to go back on the 25th of September to see what this is all about. And I see my girl, Cindy Crawford, see what she's up to. So I did go back and I loved what I found. Zara did an immersive live stream. So they filmed a short film, Cindy Crawford. But when you watch the film on the website, every product that is being worn in the film is listed to the side and you can automatically click to buy it. Not only that, but the reason I love this, and it is so smart, you see the little love hearts jumping up at the bottom there? Because everybody else is watching it too. Social proof. So you have pulled me in to this experience with Zara, but I'm not by myself. I may be at home in my bedroom shopping, but I feel like I'm part of a community and we're all watching this movie together. Now you've got me, because now I want the top and the trousers and the bag because I think other people are getting them too. It's just like a psychological manipulation, and 10 out of 10, I'm here for it. Next trend, connection, community, and context. Because if everybody's going to be shopping online, we can't lose that sense of community, right? It's another buzzword, but there's ways that we can play with this that are super, super important. 79% of people say UGC highly impacts their purchasing decisions. I'm sure a lot of us could agree with that. But shockingly, only 16% of brands apparently have a UGC strategy. I'm hoping you all know what UGC stands for. It's user-generated content. And don't worry, you're not going to lose your jobs over this. But if you can weave this kind of content into your work, you're going to see conversions go up. Matter of fact, challenge me on it. A great brand that are doing a 10 out of 10 show of this are Adenola. I don't know if you guys know Adenola. If you're not from the UK, they are kicking off right now, skyrocketing. And that is because from the start, they have built a sense of community through UGC. I see everyone wearing Adenola, and I want to be part of that. I see where they're wearing it, how they're wearing it, and how awesome they look in it. And this is all on their website and their social media, but it really creates that sense of community. And they even use the word there, community. We're reminding you, be part of our community. Durf Avenue, another beautiful brand new example. So that image on their website of the group of women, they're all regular women that they invited into the e-com studio. I know that's an efficiency nightmare for shooting e-com, but look how they are balancing community and optimizing for efficiency. There is a balance here because brand is so important. So they invite all these women in and they shoot them in the e-com studio. And then they pair it with the regular e-com and it creates this full-bodied experience of what Durf Avenue is all about. It's different to Adenola, it's different to Savage Fenty, it's different to Allbirds. But I know who they are now, and that's so important. Karl Lagerfeld, they actually, premium brand, tried UGC and noticed these stats. 7% conversion rate, and 20% average customer value increase. If you need some numbers, told you I'm a visual girly, but I put them in just to please you all. I'm hoping you believe me just through my pure enthusiasm, to be honest. And they also said this, yeah, user-generated content. It is about showing customers and influencers wearing the product, but it's also about showing the context of where the product was intended. So can we get out the studio a little bit, do you think? Are we daring enough to do that? Well, we did at my previous job at Lounge Underwear. We sell more than underwear. Sold. I no longer work there. But we actually got a professional photographer because this product was incredibly premium to go to the streets of Mallorca and shoot with our models. This was all for e-com. So this was not the campaign imagery, although we used some for performance marketing. But this was intended for the e-commerce platform, because we wanted to tell the story of where these products were intended for. We wanted the context, we wanted the sun, we wanted the streets. And this product, yeah, it sold really, really freaking well. Who knows Odd Muse? Got any Odd Muse fans? If you don't know, I'm a personal brand advocate, and Amy here from Odd Muse, she's the founder. She built this brand and she's kicking off online. Her personal brand has amplified this business, and Odd Muse now are multi-million-pound business. Guess what? She herself features in her e-commerce. That's her wearing the products. So this idea of personal branding, that's something you might want to start paying attention to. With your clients and the businesses you shoot for, who's the face of the brand? And can you get them on the e-commerce platform to create a new kind of connection? It's an interesting kind of casting, right? But this brand, because of her being present on the website, the same as Rihanna and Kim are present on theirs, is really, really interesting from a brand story point of view. And Surreal. Who knows Surreal? They're doing cool things in the creative space right now. It's a protein cereal. Now, their e-commerce photography is very, as you would imagine, bold, in your face. I didn't show it to you because I didn't want to focus on that. UGC. Amazon have been doing this for years, but Surreal, just under their main product imagery, they do this. So you can see the product in regular people's homes, regular light in the cupboards, and it creates a connection that I don't get when I see things all beautifully photographed in a studio. Okay, trend 2, functionality. Now, I love brands and I love pretty visuals and I love storytelling. But let's not forget that when we're selling things, we have to really sell things. 69% of consumers believe a product demo best assists them when making a purchase. And I've got to agree, I like to see how products move, how they look layered, and that's exactly what Uniqlo do. Because Uniqlo are very much all about functionality. They're good prices, staple products, and look how they work. So let's show how they work. A beautiful video, let me show you how this jacket looks, what to wear it with, and when I walk, let's see how it moves. When the rain hits it, how does it feel? This is really simple stuff, but a lot of brands forget to do this. But don't forget to connect it with the value-driven storytelling, and for Uniqlo, this is perfect. Scrub Daddy. I don't know if you guys follow Scrub Daddy on social media, but you need to get on that. TikTok, it is a masterclass in social media. Who'd have thought it? But it's a sponge, right? It's a smiley sponge product demo. And let's not talk about how offended I am at the fact that that oven is perfectly clean already, and they still want to show me how to clean it. So I don't know if this product's good, but they're telling me it is. Quick product demo is reiteration, reaffirmation of what this product is intended for. When your customer is sort of deliberating, it's like an extra kick, you know? You need this. Let me show you how it works. And of course, Nike, really simple. If your product's got something a bit different about it, let's show it. So many people forget this. So many brands don't do this. Or they get so used to what their products are good for, they forget to show it off. So it's got little neon lights on it, show the neon lights. And then trend number 1, my most favorite and most important, because it's perhaps not a phrase you hear too often, but it's one that I live by. Premium brands have been doing this for years. But what a lot of other brands and businesses have realized is that this is where things need to go. Because when you're up against a million different robots in the world, this is going to set you apart. If you want your conversion, you've got to speak to this. Brand world. Now, when I worked at Gymshark, and I now have my fellow Gymsharker in the room, we really went on a journey to craft that brand story. And very early days in the e-com studio, tiny, teeny little setup, we just used models. Models that we got from agencies, just posing in this gym wear. And bear in mind, it's called Gymshark, so it's really all about authenticity in the gym. And we were just using models. And then one day, someone somewhere said, I think we should be using athletes. Real athletes that know how to lift weights, that are going to stand correctly, have the right posture, wear the product like the product was meant to be worn. And we all shat ourselves because shooting athletes is very different to shooting models. It did slow the process down, but is that a hit we take to create a brand world that deserves to be created? Yes. And so on this website platform now, you will see Gymshark take you on a journey with them. When they do a lift event, like they did New York recently, the e-commerce imagery and video is from that event. You see the athletes, you see the influencers. You understand on this platform who Gymshark really are, and they invite you in. Liquid Death. I'm a creative, I'm sorry, I'm a sucker for Liquid Death right now. This, to me, appears to be a media platform. They've created this brand world that I land there and I see personality. I see who they are, I see fun, I see rebellion. Like, yeah, you can tap in and see your usual PDPs and see the product. I get to see water, woohoo! But also, I get to see so much more than that. And I think that's absolutely fascinating that these challenger brands that are scaling up very quickly and setting the tone and setting the bar for creativity are daring to mix things up a bit. So we would take a leaf out of their book. And then final example on brand world is Ace and Tate, the most beautiful glasses brand, right? Ace and Tate have got this beautiful movie on their website at the moment called Meet the Tatemans. And it's a little short story to launch their new collection. And each family member has a different pair of glasses that they represent. And when you click in there, you get to shop all the different pairs of glasses from the Tatemans. And what I love about this is they're just pulling you into this brand world. I learn who Ace and Tate are. I get a vibe that they're quirky and cool and just a little bit different to the family next door. This little sense of who they are, the bland to brand. Beautiful example. Okay, I need to breathe because I'm so excited about this. Considerations, let's get to the juicy stuff. You're going to have regional differences. I've learned this a lot in my journey working in-house at brands. Different territories like to see different things, and it is ignorant if we do not pay attention to that. So apparently the USA, they like more images, like 6, 7 different images to really see the product. I don't know if our American friends can attest to this or not, but hopefully yes. And they like to really get a feel for what that product is like. So these close-ups. China, they like sort of lifestyle imagery, things that are a little bit more romantic. Middle East, obviously we need credibility. We need to trust the brand through being sensitive towards different cultural norms. I also had some feedback when I worked in-house. French, if anybody's from these territories and wants to attest to them, please do. French, they like to see quality in product. Show me the quality. Germany, functionality. Show me what it does. These stereotypes reign true, and you see it in the shopping habits. So it's not enough to be a one-stop shop and to assume we know everything about everyone. We really have to lean in to different insights, speak to different people, and create imagery and video that speaks to their culture. And I think that's so, so, so important. Next consideration is mobile. This will not be new news for you, I'm sure, but this isn't going anywhere. So as a creative brain, I have to stop thinking like cinema, and I have to start thinking handheld. When we capture the imagery, when we capture the video, what does it look like in the palm of your hand? It's a very different way of thinking, but we have to do that. How does the visual look that big? Oh, that hurts my heart. I'm so sorry, but how does it look that big? And personalization, of course, is a trend that is absolutely not going anywhere at all. And there's going to be a lot of people today talking about AI and technology, so I am not going to go there. But if you can get on board with personalization and figuring out ways to create and craft imagery that feels specific to different people, your conversion rates can go up. I want to, as I sort of bring this talk to a close, focus on these 3 things. Because with e-commerce photography, so usually we focus on user and technology. I want to introduce brands. I've worked in businesses where the e-commerce teams sit over in that building and the creatives sit over in this building. I don't think that works anymore. I think they have to come together. Commercial and creativity have to work together because at the center of that, you've got your unique e-commerce story. So when we talk about brand and when you think about brand, and if you want to make some more creative decisions for your e-commerce platforms, think of the brand story and then have a little look into all of these things. Whatever your brand mission is, whatever your brand story is, if you don't have one, get one, make it up, I don't care. Get one and then start to tick off these. How does the lighting speak to that? How does the casting speak to that? The color palettes, the props, everything. If you don't know what an art director does, it's that. If you don't have one, I'm available. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. That was inspirational. I love all the examples there. And I have a pair of Allbirds, I can tell you. And another little feature is when they get dirty, you can actually just throw them in the washing machine, which is pretty cool. Right, Janus? Yes, good. Questions here for you, Joe. Let's take this first one here. What is your process if you feel like the brand got lost and you need to hit reset and refine the art direction for product and brand visuals?
You need to go back to your why. So even if you're not an authority figure in the business or the brands, you're a junior, mid, whatever, coerce the conversation to talk about why. Why do we do this? Why are we here? What do we care about as individuals? And start to really rewrite the mission. Because at Gymshark, we did get lost. When I was there, we started selling so many different kind of products, running, Pilates, this, that, and the other. And so the brand story and the shoots we did gravitated into 10 different directions. And eventually we all sat down and said, hit the reset button. We do gym. So we have to press that reset button and if anybody feels like you've drifted, don't be scared to say we're drifting. We're trying to do too many different things. Let's go back. It takes someone to start that conversation, and I guarantee everyone else will agree with it.
Yeah.
So go back to the why, and then you can start to move forward from there.
Good. So you were talking about going back to the why, to the core of the business.
To the core of the business.
Yeah. Also, so you get the authenticity, I guess, right?
100%, because it's so easy to get distracted by what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
That it's really important to just focus on your lane, because that will be your differentiator.
Good. Cool. Thanks. You talked about the athletes. The first one here. How did you manage working with real athletes on set? Any advice on how to best structure the process when shooting non-professional talent? Because you actually showed a couple of cases that had non-professional talent in it,
Fun
right?
story. I had an athlete shoot once at Gymshark. I'm not naming names, but there was literally probably 15 different athletes / influencers there, and it was like a zoo. And the stylist, bless her, she got them so perfectly ready for the next shot. And 5 minutes later, she'd turn around and the athlete would just have like dribbled all over his vesta. And she'd just be like, how have you done that? Like, I turned my back for 5 minutes. Like, athletes are crazy. They don't care. I think you do have to bear in mind that they're not models. They're not professional models. And so there has to be a level of empathy there. But my trick is always to get on their level. You know, if they like to lift weights, let's get some weights there. Let's get them in the comfort zone and just feeling like this is a more natural environment for them.
Yeah.
You do take a hit with it because it's not efficient, but it is worth the brand story. So you wouldn't do it all the time, but you can weave it in.
Good. And I actually have a question for, because we have Mel sitting down there. And I wonder, you did mention at the end, right, technology and stuff like that needs to come together. But I wonder if we had you and Mel in a panel up here, would you start fighting?
I don't fight. I'm just such a lovely person. But I would get so enthusiastic, it would probably scare her off. So yeah, that's my tactic.
Good. But how do you feel about, embedding all that thinking and all that data and very transactional? How do you feel about embedding that into that story? And because when you look at some of those websites that they're showing, you show the Allbirds, you show the Longines, you show those things. And I actually think Allbirds, for one, they would probably like to sell 10% more than they're selling today, right? I mean, how do you feel about that?
I think it's balanced. Look, I've gone heavy on brand today because I knew other people would not. It is balance. And I think the conversation has got so excited about AI and technology. It's all we talked about yesterday in the breakout rooms. I want to bring it back. My absolute passion is to just collaborate and create worlds where everything has a place. I think everything does have a place. So yes, you need your numbers, you need your data, you need your technology, but please do not forget your soul.
Good. So you would actually be willing to kick out those athletes, and if some data guy could come in and say, or something else converts better?
Yeah, I mean, can you not tell? I'm really strong, so boot them right out.
Good. Question. The top one here. When browsing brand websites, what is something that frustrates you the most? In other words, if you had a magic wand, what would you fix?
My granddad was a magician, like just waving the magic wand since a child forever. Yeah, I think one of the main things for me is the finding it hard to navigate straight to what I'm trying to find. So you've got to really ensure the user journey is there. And I think I'm talking about sort of the smoke and mirrors of creating a beautiful brand, but let's not forget that you've got to help your customer get to what they want to get to. So just guiding that process through. I mean, the Ace and Tate Meet the Tatemans is really nice because it's a brand new collection. So it's exciting. What is this? Click. And then I see the whole collection. So just try and mitigate the amount of steps to get there, I think.
Good. Cool. Top one here. I'd like to touch on as well. How do you advise you train out a new art direction and ensure all teams buy into the vision, right? Because there's a lot of change management in that as well.
Yeah.
Right? And getting everyone aligned.
Absolutely. It is tricky. There's a little trick I use called the IKEA effect. IKEA is in the furniture. If you help build it, you will love it. So if I've got a passion or we've got a new line of direction we need to go in, the number one trick is to get everybody else feeling like it was their idea too. Don't just stand at the front and say, we've got this new vision, everyone, let's go. Start to ask questions and say, here's the new vision. What do you think? What do you think? Oh, okay, that's amazing. Like, how can we embed that? Right, is everyone happy with what we're doing? Let's go. So I think it's really about having the conversation because you think you might know, but someone will throw a spanner in the works and then you're like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that.
Good. Perfect. Thank you, Joe Bird.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen.